Cheers folks and welcome to my channel. It is war number 2, season number 5, and as of last war I started commenting on my war videos and yeah, I got a lot of really good feedback from you guys, so I'll just continue down that path, and this is my second commented war video today. Second alliance we faced was Team 9, Romanian alliance. Quite low performing last season, only Platinum 3. But right now they are up to number 28 in war rating. So they made quite a leap. Also, they apparently got a lot of new profiles in, because they have quite a bit of people who have like 4 rank 5 champions in their portfolio. So really not that an easy matchup as it looks at first glance. Now, the team that I've been choosing has been the same team as in season war number 1. Blade, Void, and Ghost Rider, pretty much taking the same path as the first war. Just in the first section I changed up a bit, but in general I was taking path number 7, so as a logical consequence it was the same team, no need to change a winning team there. So starting off the war, as you can see in the first section, this war I'm going also on path 7. So this war I'm going path 7 all the way, whereas last war I started on path 8 in the first section. Oh, and there you see on the screen actually it says Lautstärke. I got a lot of questions also from you guys if I was German. Yes, I am German. So just, for future references, I am from Germany, and you don't have to wonder anymore where my accent is coming from. But going back to the war, on path 7, the first encounter that I had was against this Mystic Champion. The Mystic Champion that was not in the profile of that person that I encountered. First, and that's for us always the case, always, use boost. I mean, at the level that we're playing, it's really every death counts. But back to the node here on the first fight of path 7, it's pretty much an immune node, which means bleed immune as global now, but also poison immune. And the only thing that's really a bit dangerous is the limber, because it means that basically every time you parry stun, the duration of the stun is decreased by 20%. So you can only parry stun, let's say 3-4 times maximum, and then your opponent is basically stun immune. So use the first parts of the fight to get your opponent to special 1, let them fire off their special 1. I mean, in this case it was magic, which is the perfect match for a blade, let's be honest. I don't think she activated her limbo once, and then her special 1 is just really easy to evade, and it was very quick fight with blades in the end, but a good warm-up for the path. And then actually on that same first section path, there was another champion, a cosmic champion placed by the same person. And as you've seen maybe in the first fight, the person placed with suicide masteries. So actually you want them to fire off their specials, so they basically kill themselves a bit. On that note, it's also a limber, but slightly less. And especially here, recovery. So it could have been, for example, Angela, which is why in the end I was choosing Void, to make sure that in case there is extra healing, this healing can be reversed at a certain stage with the Petrify buffs of Void. But it turned out not to be Angela, who I suspected first. It turned out to be Phoenix. Quite honestly, even better, because by the time she gets to the end of her health, she is not gaining back any more health from her signature ability against Void. So you just try to get her to her specials. The better. For her, I actually prefer if she gets to her special 2. After special 1, she often gains a lot of extra power. So it's better to get her to her special 1, and then, as mentioned, basically the debuffs kill her once her signature ability is over. And that fight also a really good first warm-up fight in section 1. So overall, very nice. And again, that was it already for the evening. I was moving already onto my path number 7 now, where I was continuing next day. I was thinking for a second if I should fight that Mephisto still in the evening. But then I thought, okay, if I'm waiting there, I can boost up all the way to the mini boss and have bigger boosts then, because this part of the path is more difficult than the first part. So I said, no, let's wait with that. I mean, the node here, as you know from last season's video, buff it. So basically for every buff on you, your opponent is regenerating and healing an extra 5%. So again, it's a perfect node to take with Void, even more so as it's Mephisto, because his Incinerate doesn't do any damage to Void because Void is Incinerate immune. So you can be in like very close to Mephisto all the time, even if he's incinerated, you don't take any damage. So actually I've done this fight so many times. Mephisto on this node with Void is a safe bet. So what I explained already in the last video, what you want to do on this one, on this node, is you just want to spam your special ones. Make sure he gets the debuffs, make sure he gets especially the Petrify debuffs, so that at the end, when he gets to his 30%, that's when he starts regenerating, that then he basically loses health instead of regenerating. And here is the one thing, the one mistake I made in this fight I was a millisecond too quick after his special 2. I honestly haven't fought Mephisto there for a long time, so the timing was quite off, but then yeah, happens. One mistake during such a fight is okay. And then I basically just let him get to his special ones, because special ones, I personally find them very easy to evade, and then you can directly counter him after that. So you just wait and try to get him to that point where he wants to fire off his special one. And there it is, and then you counter just back. And now he is at a place where he would usually regenerate a lot, but in this case he doesn't, because he has Fear of the Void and a Petrify buff, debuff on him. So he doesn't regenerate anything, and you can just continue fighting as you used to fight before. So Mephisto is very, very really the best fighter to take down a Mephisto on a healing node is Void. There's no doubt about that. And then the next champion to face, a tech champion. I said last video that you're likely to find an Iron Man Infinity War on that node, but Iron Man Infinity War was already placed on a mini-boss node by the same Alliance BG. So I wasn't quite sure if, you know, this was an Iron Man Infinity War. The stats looked like it wasn't, because he had too much health for an Iron Man Infinity War. And again, it's a node that spams armor ups every 2 seconds for the defending champion. Plus, explosive personality means that when you hit that person in their block more than 5 times, you lose a significant amount of health. Which is why, actually, the armor up buff only makes sense if there's an Iron Man Infinity War. It doesn't help any of the other champions that much. But that explosive personality can be quite nasty if you, for example, are facing Ultrons, because they're evading and then you don't hit them, or basically you hit them in the block after they've evaded. So that's why I decided to go in with Void, because he also spams debuffs that prevent the opponent to evade. Because actually I was expecting an Ultron now in that fight on that node. But I was surprised again, because it was none of the Ultron's Iron Man Infinity Wars, it was Yondu. Now what you have to know about Yondu, because a lot of people think you can't parry stun him. Yes, you can. You just have to use his dash attacks, which are his medium attacks. You cannot stun his light attacks. That's why you should always try to be have a bit of distance between you and Yondu, and have him dash attack towards you, and then you can perfectly well parry him. And you had seen it at the beginning of this fight. Actually, I did it twice. And then you see this here. Again, slight mistake from my side. I was hesitating a millisecond too long if I should attack after Yondu's heavy attack, because I was actually surprised he was attacking with a heavy attack. And then he parry stunned me, and yeah, it cost me again some potions. Gladly, I did not get any bleed from it, but yeah, cost some potions, but that's what you pay for when you do slight mistakes in a war like this. But in the end, not so difficult. Also, again, because it was the same guy placed with Suicide Mastery, so basically he killed himself by firing off his specials. And the next round was very, very tricky and very special also to explain again the use of Scouter Lens. As you know, maybe again from last video, I do have the Scouter Lens Mastery. And what you can see is the health and the attack and the rank of your opponent. Now, skill champions on this node, which again is a healing node, which gets arc overload every 20 seconds, you either find champions that shrug off debuffs because they want to use it as a counter, so you cannot attack with Void. And that would usually be Agent Venom or Crossbones or Taskmaster or Kingpin. But they have a very specific or very equally balanced health attack ratio. Now there's one new champ now, one new skill champ now, who has way higher health than attack. And actually you can calculate, if you have Scouter Lens, you can calculate by the health and by the attack which champion, or if it is a special champion that was placed on that node. And as I calculated that before, I found out on that node it's a Korg. And the reason why you saw now that I changed my masteries and took dexterity off is because I was certain on the next node there will be a Korg, and the only thing you do not want to have against him is trigger dexterity, because then he gets unstoppable and unblockable, and then it's really difficult to fight against him. So I took off dexterity, and I still went in with Void, because what you can do still is when his rock shield is down, you can apply debuffs. So when you fight him on that node, what you will have to watch is you first have to get his rock shield charges down. And I actually parried, because he does have also the ability to shrug off debuffs and shrug off parry, but only to a certain percentage. So, you know, just try it. You know, every second, third time the parry will work, and you will be able to then hit him with light attacks, because light attacks is what will get his rock shield down, plus you don't take any damage from his thorns. So it's a very complex thing that you have to watch and, you know, what to pay attention to. But once his rock shield is down, you can actually then apply your debuffs, and they will stick. So as on this node, Korg gets this arc overload every 20 seconds, you still just want to apply your petrified debuffs with Void. And once the petrified debuffs are on Korg, he will not regenerate, but he will degenerate. Now what you have to watch is you cannot try to evade his specials, you have to just block them. Because dexterity mastery is off, it would be detrimental here if I try to evade that special attack. So yes, you do get quite a few scratches, but it's better to take some scratches than to die in that fight. So it's again a price to pay. I know there is also a way of evading him dashing towards you and then counter directly with light attacks. I've tried this. I'm not sure if it works for me, because I'm playing on iPad, and it seems like on iPad the movements are slightly different than on the phone. And this technique just didn't really work for me, or I'm just not good enough to actually fight with that technique. But the parry worked still very, very well for me. It was the first Korg that I fought in Alliance War, so I was actually quite proud, because he is one of the toughest defenders that's currently placed on Alliance War defense. And I mean, I was ending the fight with, I think, 70% health on Void, which honestly is really, really good. And moving to the last fight was again an opponent who is perfect to take down with Void, and that is Sabretooth. Now Sabretooth on that node, I think, because it's a node that has a healing boost of 200%, I think it's not able to get him down with any of the other champions like Stark Spider-Man or Corvus Glaive. They do have a lot of damage output, but they still won't get enough to counter that tremendous healing that Sabretooth will have at a certain stage in this fight. So Void is the perfect answer. What you have to watch out though a bit is the strike back, especially at the beginning of the fight, when you don't yet have any Petrify debuffs on Sabretooth. So only apply your special 1 when Sabretooth has little health, because you want him to always use his special 1. That's the easy one to evade. And if you can do that at a certain stage after he gets some Petrify debuffs, then you can also fire off your specials when he has a little bit more power, because then he won't get any more power from that strike back node. Now, my technique against him is before I get him over this 1 bar of power, I only apply a 4 combo, not a 5 combo. I always find it easier to just hit him 4 times, then dash back a bit. Then I personally find it easier to evade his special 1. Or after I myself fire off my special 1 and he counters with his special 1 attack move right here. It's also easy to evade. I think it's a bit more difficult after you hit him with a 5 combo. But that's personal preference. But works very well for me. And you see, towards the end of the fight, because of the Petrify debuffs and because he has all these healing buffs on him, he degenerates really, really quickly and is down really, really fast. So, again, Void the perfect answer against a Sabretooth on a healing boost node. And that was it for my path of the second war of the season. Again, no deaths, which I was very happy about. Some new champions that I hope are useful for you to learn about how to fight them on certain nodes. And I can also, again, give a little heads up, because now I recorded this after the war was over. We won the second war of the season, so that was really, really good. Again, a very nice continuation of our winning streak. And if you liked the video, give it a like. If you're new to the channel and you want to see more war videos in the future, hit the subscribe button. Cheers, folks.